Good morning. Um, Here we are. Uh, Monday? Yeah, it's Monday. I'm confused. I don't even know what's going on today. Yeah, so everything is going fine. I am well, and my Jack is good. My son, he's still kind of sounds kind of stuffed up. Still has a cold, he thinks, but um, he's doing well, and his biggest concern was what was he going to do about work. But as it turns out, his work, he works at Amazon, and I know you hear terrible things about Amazon as an employer, and I do have my mixed feelings about it. But they have a policy, COVID disability, where if you have COVID and um, you get 2 weeks off with pay, so while you recover, which is pretty great. Really encourages people to get tested and to uh, not try to work while sick. So I got to applaud them for that. And I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I hope something similar, right? Because there are a lot of industries where people just try to work even though they're feeling ill, and that's in this it's never a good idea, right? But right now it's the worst of ideas. So yeah, so all is good. No one else appears to be getting sick. So fingers crossed, we'll be okay. So I will be back tomorrow at Garfield to teach, and we'll just go from there. And I think this is probably um, this is just going to be the way of things, right? We're going to have times where people are going to um, be sick, and times when people are not. Um, Jack was vaccinated, so don't think that you can't get it if you're vaccinated. You absolutely can. But he's gonna get a 2 week vacation instead of 2 weeks in the hospital because of it. So um, let's be grateful that we have that, and we've gotten this far, right? Where things are a bit more. There's a bit more knowledge about what to do, and certainly the availability of the vaccine and the availability of tests. Um, just for your information, we got the rapid tests from the library. Our library, and I'm sure every library has them available. So if you have a local library that's convenient and easy to get to, I'd give them a call and see if they have the tests there. And you can take them home, give yourself a test if it turns out that you've been exposed, or you feel like you may have been exposed to someone with COVID. I think this is how we keep things from getting any worse than they are. Um, is trying to be aware of when we have it and what we can do about it. Um, when you are vaccinated, if you have been exposed to it but are not showing symptoms, you're okay to be around other people. Um, if you have been exposed to it and you have symptoms, even if they're just mild symptoms, you really aren't. You really should be staying home, because I guess the coughing and the runny nose and all that stuff, you are much more likely to be spreading. Um, so um, that's your COVID update for the day. So, as with everything, as time goes by, things, uh, the more we know about things, the less scary they get, the more manageable they seem. This is the way of things. And it seems this is not going to go away. We are going to have to learn to live with COVID. I don't know if there was ever a possibility that it would have gone. Maybe if, back in February of 2020, everyone had just stayed home um, until it all, ran its course. But um, that's impossible, right? Hindsight seems like that would have been a good idea, but trying to convince people of how important that was and what the consequences might be would have been impossible. So um, we are just making the best of whatever situation we have, which is, right, that's how we do things. So um, let's talk about that. So in yoga, um, our goal is truth. It always has been. That's at the base of it all. At the very base, we talk about that big picture yoga, which is eliminating the fear of death, right? That is the big picture yoga because we know what comes next, right? We know that we join back with the everything. And that is not a cause for fear. Um, it may be a cause for sadness. You may miss the people that you're with, they may miss you, but we really aren't ever gone, are we? We are always just moving back into the whole. Um, so, if that is the truth, right, and we have accepted that truth, then that truth is what kind of allows us to be free, allows us to um, not have a debilitating fear of what's next, right? Um, Protecting our survival is a very basic um, desire and motivation for us. As yogis, we are asked to think maybe a little beyond that. Not that we don't wish to preserve our lives, we do, but we want to set that in perspective and know that um, whatever comes will be okay. We will endure, right? Keep going as we always have and always will. There is no real beginning and there is no real end either. It is all just part of the wheel, right? So, part of this looking for truth is looking at what there is, right? Not telling ourselves a story that is untrue. Um, we have a great capacity for self delusion, all of us. Um, it's something we need to pay attention to and be aware of. When we um, develop these beliefs in our head, they're very hard to shift. We even when faced with different information, we are very likely to reject it because we are comfortable in our delusion. Um, and that's what it is, right? It is a delusion. It is a belief that is untrue. It may be something that was given to us by our family, by our parents, by our upbringing, by our experiences in life, by what other people have told us. That's where delusions come from, right? They don't really come from within. If we look within, we see the truth. Delusions are what is put upon us. It is a layer, right? In yoga terms, we talk about a lens that we look through, distorted, um, clouded, dirty, right? That's what happens. These things cover our ability to see things clearly. So, knowing that is the first part, right? If we know that, then we know that what we are seeing is not necessarily true. Um, we in Western society have a great saying: "Your eyes will deceive you." right? And if you don't have any basis in these beliefs, that saying may not have really made any sense to you, because how can your eyes deceive you? Your eyes are your primary means for sense um, perception, right? Um, how can that deceive you? We rely on our eyes every day, all day. Well, because our eyes are clouded, our eyes are covered with lens that is covered then with other things. So our eyes aren't always the most reliable way, right? Our perception, our view of the world may not be at all what it is in truth. So what do, right? What are we going to do instead? Well, we look within, right? That is a solid perception, right? When we are listening to that small, still voice within us, it's not going to steer us wrong. Um, most of us have two voices within. We may have more than two voices, but we're going to have at least two voices, right? The one voice is your mind, right? That's the loud voice. That's the chatter, the noise, right? And then we have the small voice that's within. That's um, the knowledge, the deeper knowledge. That is our connection, right? Our lifeline, as it were, to this ultimate truth. That's what we're listening for, and it's hard because this other noise will chatter. This chatter will drown it out. And then, if you've been through a lot of things, you may have other people's voices in your head. Maybe your parents, maybe an ex, right? Or a friend who turned out to not be such a friend. Um, these things leave marks, right? In yoga terms, um, we call them, um, well, the description they have for them is like indentations in the sand, right? So they are grooves that have been worn into our consciousness. And the more we go back to them, the deeper that groove gets. We can release the groove, we can smooth that sand back out, but it, it takes time and it takes real focus to reject those voices, to turn away, right? So that's part of all of this meditation stuff, right? Is to be able to focus our consciousness away from those competing voices and towards that inner voice, right? That source of truth. So, that source of truth, when you have that feeling, right? And I know you've all had that feeling when something is not right. Maybe you'll be in a situation where you don't feel right. Something is off. You feel fearful or you feel on edge, right? That is an important perception. Be aware of that. You may have met someone that you either really take a shine to or you take an instant dislike to. If there's no reason for that, right? They haven't said anything kind or they haven't said anything rude. It's just a deep aversion or attraction initially. Listen to that. That is some information that you are getting from that inner voice. Don't allow this voice or the other voices to overtake that. Especially as women in society, we have been told be nice, be kind, don't um, don't make people mad, don't don't be too bossy, don't be too loud, don't be a bitch, right? Right? That's what we are when we ask for what we need. Um, that causes us to shut this voice down. We don't believe this voice. right? Or if we do, we're not going to say anything because we don't want to, we don't want to be that loud person. We don't want to be the person who causes a scene. So we get taken advantage of. Guys seek that out, right? There are people who are looking. They are predators, and they are looking for people to take advantage of in all different ways. Not, I mean, certainly sexually abused, but not just that, like just taking up your time, taking up your attention, all of these things that are yours. They don't need to be shared with anyone. So if it doesn't feel like a good interaction, say so. Walk away. Say, excuse me, and leave. Listen to that voice. It is preserving you. It is protecting you. We have an intelligence. Every cell, and this is something that science has spoken about as well. This idea that every part of our body has an intelligence. Every little, even the tiniest cell in our body has an intelligence. It has a function. It does things all on its own. All of these cells are part of us, but yet they are something, we don't understand really the function of how they communicate and how they work together. But I can tell you, your body has a knowledge, which is much deeper than what our consciousness is privy to. So if you don't feel good, it's probably not good. So listen to it well. And learn from that, right? Trust yourself more than anyone else ever, right? Because you have that knowledge. Even the most well-intentioned person, someone who loves you and cares for you and is, the best person in the world, they still don't know you in your skin. Only you know that. So trust yourself. If you feel like you've made bad decisions in the past, reflect on that. Understand maybe why you made those decisions. Usually we make those decisions because we're influenced by other things. We weren't thinking about our own best interests. We were trying to make other people happy. We were trying to not rock the boat. We figured, it's okay, I'll just go along with it, right? Don't go along with it. Don't. We might, in the short term, we think it's going to be better, but in the long term, we do so much damage to ourselves by not listening to what we need. Why is what someone else needs more important than you? Why is someone else's comfort and contentment more important than yours? Think about that. We don't always need to be the last person at the dinner table, right? We don't always need to be taking the scraps. We can take what we want. We should take what we want. This is what, and I think sometimes people forget this. So we talk about aparigraha, right? This is the last of the yamas, and it is the idea of not being greedy. Okay? And so we misinterpret this to say we should not want anything, right? We should let everyone else take everything. Well, that's not it at all. If everyone takes what they need, there will be enough. It's when people hold on to way more than they need that there are shortages and problems. It doesn't mean take less. I mean, unless you're taking too much. It means take just enough. So look after your own needs. Make sure that you are doing and getting what you need in any given situation. Maybe what you need is less than someone else. It's possible, right? Maybe you really don't care about whatever it is that's happening, and you can just let it go. But we will never know that until we listen to that That's the voice within. Um, and it's hard because, as you know, women and moms, if you've had children, um, or even ever been in that situation of being a mom, sort of mother figure to someone, you know that is what is sometimes required, right? There are times that we need to sacrifice our own short-term desires for someone else's needs. You know, children need your attention right then, not when you feel like it, right? But we forget that there's an end to that sometime, right? It doesn't go on forever. Um, there is an end, and at that point, then we need to start focusing back on our own needs, and know that uh, we aren't permanently in that position, right? It's just short term. So if your kids are grown up, they can deal with stuff on their own. They can wait till you're finished, with your book or whatever it is you're doing. Um, so again, that's part of seeing the truth, right? What is the truth of your situation? Is the truth that you really can't, um, you really can't do what you want to do? Or is the truth of your situation that you believe that other people will be unhappy if you do what you want to do? There's a big difference there. Um, so see the truth. You don't have to necessarily do anything about that. I know for myself and many people that I know, many times the stories we tell ourselves are to protect ourselves from having to do things that maybe we say we want to do, but we don't really want to do. Right? Deep down, we're looking for some reason why we can't do these things. Um, I mean, I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with that. What's wrong with that is kidding yourself that that's not what you're doing, right? Blaming someone else or assigning, oh, my kids could never get by without me. I have to be there for whatever, So you're laying it on them instead of saying, I don't really feel like doing that right now. I'm not going to do it. I mean, what's wrong with that? No, as they say, is a complete sentence. You don't need to justify why you don't want to do something. Um, you don't have to want to do anything. Um, there are a lot of things that we know we should do for our own health or our own well-being. Maybe we just aren't ready to do them right now. Maybe, you know, today is not the day for it. Be comfortable with that. Allow yourself to have some ease. You don't have to always be doing the right thing, the perfect right thing all the time. Um, my husband listened to a podcast about laziness, and he said, you should listen to that. I'm like, dude, I am lazy enough. And I kind of am. But listen to that, right? You don't have to be on call every 5 minutes. Laziness, what we consider laziness, is ease. And taking ease is a really important part of life. In yoga, right, in our practice, we're looking for that balance between effort and ease, and in our life as well. Um, if we're always trying, always working, always trying to do what we need to do, help everyone, all these things, we're going to burn out. So take your ease, and be comfortable with that. Know that that is just as important as the effort. All right, let's move around a little. Um, yeah, but we're going to sit first and do a little pranayama. So relaxing through the shoulders, relaxing the neck. And then let's drop the chin down toward the chest. Lifting up, keep lifting the chin. And back up, take a breath, lowering. And back up, and then lower. Things feel super tight on me today. I was building yesterday. I hit my finger with a hammer. It was a, gosh, I hit my finger with a hammer before. I wonder if that's why this is different. This was like a rubber, not rubber, but like some kind of a plastic hammer. Maybe it was rubber. I was trying to knock some plastic feet onto these posts for this. We're doing this like roof over a deck or something. And yeah, man, it really hurt it. And I wonder if the rubber like impacts differently than a regular hammer. But I really hit it. So yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. It's always something, right? So let's walk the hands out in front. And then behind, squeeze shoulder blades together, gaze up. And then back up to a seat. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. We'll sit tall here, take a deep breath. Lean forward. Back up, we're going to bring this left knee so it's pointing out in front. Right knee over top. I can see, I don't know, I think that, yeah, oh, I'll fix that later. You can't see, I think that the angle of the laptop lid is a bit off, but that's okay. You know what we're doing, right? So we got one hand either side and just folding forward a little bit. And then we're mixing it around. So now this right knee is out in front, left leg over top. Breath and fold. And then bring everything back. We're going to catch a hold of the toes. Lean back a little. Find your balance. And then extending. Kind of go halfway or full extension here. And then bend the knees. Set the feet back down. We'll have soles of the feet together again. Sitting tall, draw the shoulders back, lean forward. And then back up. I'm going to fix this. That's better. Yeah, that's better. So extend the legs. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. We're back up. Bend that right knee. Hug it in. Sit tall. Then lowering the knee out. We've got the foot right up against the thigh. Take a deep breath. Lean forward. Moving back up. Switch around here. Sitting tall. And then lower. Deep breath. Fold forward. We're back up. Both legs out in front. Deep breath. Fold forward. Moving back up. Bend the knees. We're lowering down. We're rocking back. Take a few breaths. Then hug that right leg in. Get the hands behind the thigh. Then lowering that knee out to the right. Keep the rest of the body flat on the mat. And then we're bringing this knee across the body while we are keeping the shoulders as flat to the mat as you can. Right? So we're trying to work that twist through the upper body instead of rolling over onto our side. If that right shoulder comes up, don't worry about it. Sometimes it's just really hard to make that twist without some movement in the shoulder. Something that helps is to gaze the opposite way of the twist. So in this case, gazing right. And then back to center. Switch legs. So now we've got this left leg that we're hugging in. Then lowering down. And then bringing the leg across. Back to center and extend both legs. Just take a few breaths here. Bend the knees. Let's bring right ankle onto the left knee. So you might be here, just pressing that knee away from the body. If the hips feel tight, if you can do a little more today, then we're going to draw that left thigh in towards the body. Set the foot down, and we could switch around here. Again, whatever you did on one side, we are going to do on this one as well. And then set the feet down. Let's bump the knees together, walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat, and we'll just take a few breaths here. And then we're going to walk the heels back towards the body, setting up, pardon me, for bridge. We're going to do a bridge and a supported bridge. So if you've got a block, have it nearby. Pressing down with hands and feet. We start lifting. And then lower down, just for like a breath. And then we're going to lift again and find a place where that block feels good. You want to feel it just supporting that whole sort of pelvic area below the hips. If it doesn't feel comfortable, you probably have the block up too high. Sometimes it's hard to kind of locate where the right place is. We start putting it up around the lower back. We don't want that. Really, the lower the better. So start out low and then kind of work your way up to the place where you feel supported. If it's too low, right, you won't feel like you are supporting that area. You'll be kind of falling off. So just play around with it. As with everything, pretty much in yoga, if it feels good, you're in the right spot. Right? If it doesn't feel good, then that pose is not being done correctly for you. And we can always, bring the knees in if you feel like it, if that feels extra good, or extend the legs. It just takes a little more effort, a little more balance, and it kind of works the core to try to stabilize the legs in a lifted position. But, there's no need to do that if you don't feel like it. Extending the legs out, too. Some people like that. I'm not a super big fan of how that feels for me, but some people really enjoy it. So experiment. And then we're taking the block out and just bringing soles of the feet together, knees apart. So experimenting with the poses is always a good idea. But we want to go slowly and carefully so that we can stop if it turns out to not be such a good idea. Not every pose is right for everybody on every day. I wouldn't say that there's ever a pose that anyone should never do, but there are a lot of poses that, certain days it just isn't working for you. That's okay. And then let's just move into Shavasana from here. So you could stay with knees apart if that feels good for you, or just extend the legs. Extend the arms, palms up, or you could keep them on your belly, or any other kind of configuration that works for you. Breathing and relaxing, feeling steady. In all things, truth is the goal. You may feel like you'd rather not always know the truth about everything. And I understand that, right? I understand that feeling. Sometimes I'm sorry that I know the truth after I do, but we know, right, as rational human beings, that the truth is the only path forward. Um, we can avoid the truth. We can bury our head in the sand and refuse to see the truth. But if we ignore the truth, we will never truly be able to move forward. We will be making bad decisions based on faulty information. Um, we'll look back and say, this is where I went wrong, right? I didn't I didn't believe what was truly happening. I pretended it wasn't. I told myself a different story. This is the root of a lot of problems. And we can avoid a lot of problems in our life if we simply face the truth. So when you're ready, we're going to start moving again, fingers and toes. I don't have my bells because they're in my bag. I have to go find my other pair. So just coming back into some movement. And when you're ready, come on up to a seat. Let's bring hands together for a deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time this morning for yoga, for sharing with me here. I hope that you have a really good day. Namaste. Okay, so I should say thank you for joining me whenever, because, and I see Sabira, I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you before. I noticed that a lot of people come and watch these later. So it could be any time of the day. So thank you for joining me any time of the day, whenever that may be, or night. All right, 5 minutes of meditation for Ruth, because Ruth came to class and told me that she enjoyed doing meditation. So that that made me feel like, yay, we're going to do meditation. So yeah, let's do it. 5 minutes, sitting comfortably, wherever that is. Maybe the floor, maybe a chair. Working on a sitting practice, right? Sitting practice is great because you don't have to do anything. You can just sit in a chair. There's no excuse, right? You can't avoid it. You can't be like, oh, I can't get on the floor here. I can't. Just sit. Work on that connection, that communication within, right? Seeking truth. So steady breath, peaceful focus, coming back to that breath. Okay. Here we are, back uh, to regular stuff. So I did want to mention that sometimes, we're talking about this voice, right? This small, still voice within. Sometimes it's not even a voice, right? You may experience it as a voice, you might not. It could be a feeling. Sometimes, for me, it is a voice, but a lot of times it's a feeling. Just a feeling of real deep contentment and comfort, right? And that's kind of the same thing, right? You're still reaching that place. Um, so if it's not a voice for you, don't worry about it. It can be a feeling, it could be a sensation, which is really just as much information as we get from a voice, right? Um, you're not seeking this wisdom, finding this connection isn't going to solve all your problems, right? It's not going to tell you what to do. That's sometimes I think people sit around waiting for a voice from above or within to say, hey, do this. That's not exactly how it works. I mean, it may be how it works for some people. I've never experienced it that way. It's more of a feeling. It's more of a um, um, and kind of an influence, a nudge, maybe a little nudge in a certain direction. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's different things for different people. So don't feel like you're doing it wrong or it's broken. This connection's broken because you're not, getting like a to-do list or something. It it's it's usually not as clear cut as that. So um, we just keep listening, right? Okay. Enjoy Monday. I'm going to be at Garfield Park on Tuesday and then here Wednesday, there Thursday, back here Friday. So I will hopefully see you somewhere. Have a great day.